On today's episode of The Unwritten Rule, Mizzou was on bye over the weekend, so we're just going to talk some Mizzou news. We have some shifting in the poll. They moved up a couple spots. We'll do a little Georgia preview. Obviously, we're going to talk a lot about it on for Friday's show, but we do have the line at least opening, so we'll talk a little bit of Mizzou, Georgia, and then we have some Tigers in the NBA to talk about. Isiaih Mosley, some news there. We had Jordan Clarkson. Kobe Brown made his debut. We're going to answer one of y'all's questions. Put in the comments. You had a good one. About some recruiting, obviously with the Wingo news that sparked a lot of people's interest. So, we'll talk just a bunch of Mizzou football stuff. General news, we'll do quick hits. Got a little bit of a refined segment there. We'll explain it when we get there. And then we're going to finish with the SEC tier list. So we'll talk about it was a bye week for Mizzou, but we'll talk about the other games in the SEC, where everyone stands heading into the next week of games. So plenty to dive into on the Unwritten Rule, and it's all presented by Bet Online. The last of the major pro sports leagues just kicked off this past week, and Bet Online is your top spot for all your NBA action this season. We've got MLB postseason, NFL, and college football, and NHL also in full swing. Fall is truly the best time. All the sports going on. Bet Online is your number one source for all your wagering news, odds, trends, and predictions. Get everything NBA at your fingertips with both desktop and mobile access for every sport anytime. Head to the website today and get in on the action. Don't forget to use our promo code BELIEVE. That's BLEAV, BELIEVE, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, where the game starts, and the Unwritten Rule starts right now.
Marcel, where are you going with that disc? You are not putting that on again. Marcel, okay, if you press that button, you are in very, very big trouble.
Attention. Everybody stop what you're doing. It's time for The Unwritten Rule, a Mizzou sports podcast brought to you by the Believe Network, alongside Peyton Haverman and Kenny Van Doren. Here is your host, Jack Knowlton.
Welcome back to the Unwritten Rule. Today is Monday, October 30th, and Mizzou football won the bye week. Kenny and Peyton moved up 2 spots to number 14 in the AP poll, courtesy of some wild stuff happening around college football.
Oregon State, Pac-12 cannibalization.
Yeah, thank you, Pac-12, for just beating up on itself every single season. Mizzou moved up to 14 in the AP poll. Obviously, the Tigers are on bye, so we just have some news stuff to hit on, but Mizzou up to 14th now ahead of the matchup against Georgia. How fun is it just to see like Tigers, top 15 team? I don't think we were expecting that for quite a bit. Certainly not something we're used to, as I feel like we've said so often in our tenure when we were there.
It's bizarre. This is their highest ranking since the end of the 2014 season. Of course, that season they won the Outback Bowl against Minnesota, if I'm not mistaken. Very good year there. They made the SEC title game. They were down 1 score to Alabama going into the 4th quarter. And then my TV didn't stop working. So I don't know what happened that quarter. But really cool to see the number 14 against Mizzou. It's just like an imperceptibly high number for Mizzou. It's blown past what I expected. Just don't get absolutely worked by Georgia, and you shouldn't fall too much.
Yeah, it's incredible to look back on the last time the Tigers played in Athens as well. Just looking at the box score, leading passer Brady Cook, different Brady Cook now. Leading rusher Tyler Macon, no longer with the program. Leading receiver Toski Dove, who's not even the number 1 option at Memphis since he's transferred. Incredible turnaround. When you look at that box score, you think, oh, new head coach, new quarterback. No, this program just moved in the right direction, and hopefully going to keep it a little bit closer than the last time they were in Athens. 43-6.
Yeah, definitely. That would be ideal, and that's where I'll go to, because obviously we're going to get into the preview, so we won't dive too much into it. We're going to preview them down on for Friday's show, but we do have the line. Thank you, Bet Online. Right now, Georgia minus 15.5. And then I'll also ask you guys this over under of 56 total points. With where you're at right now on Monday, does Mizzou cover? Does the over or under hit?
It's interesting. The lines, obviously Bet Online has it at 15, 16? Okay, 15.5. they've been all over the place. I've seen anything from 14.5 to 17. Very hard to find a consensus on this one. If I had to bet right now, and I'm gonna just say I think Georgia's gonna win this game. Like I think you're still being a little too optimistic if you think Mizzou can win, but I don't think they will win. If I had to guess, I'd say Mizzou would cover. I really don't think Mizzou is going to lose by 17 or more. I think Drinkwitz knows what this team means. I don't think Mizzou's at the step where I think they'll win, but I think they are going to play Georgia as tough as anyone really can. I mean, when Georgia wants to win, though, when Georgia plays its A game, they're going to beat anybody they want by however much they want. Over under, now I'll take the under for now because I think I'm expecting like a 31-21 game, like maybe a 28-21. I'm gonna take the under for now.
Yeah, well said. I think even if the Tigers keep this close, this is one of Drinkwitz's best road games in his tenure with the Tigers. We know that he hasn't had the best history in these road environments. You're going into Athens; it's a bigger deal. It's one of the best SEC experiences, and just even in college football. But I would say that the Tigers keep it close. I think it could still be a 2-score game, which fits into that 15.5. I'm going to take the over on that over-under that you sent, though, Jack. I think it could be a big scoring game. Both of these offenses are some of the best in the SEC, even in college football. It'll be interesting to see if Dominic Lovett is one of the main guys. It's kind of a revenge game, but not even really a revenge game. He has no reason to have revenge against the Tigers, but maybe see if you can lock him down or he has a big day.
Yeah, I think it's natural skepticism right now. But I think I'll take Mizzou to cover for now. Again, we'll see what changes over the course of the week. Obviously, a lot can happen. And yeah, we'll get to the preview. No Brock Bowers though. That's the key. I am looking though. What?
Oh, I was just gonna say, isn't it kind of crazy to think just last season when Georgia came to Mizzou, the line was 30. So,
Yeah.
Quite the
And
stride.
Mizzou
Yeah.
covered that one.
Yeah, more than covered that one. And I mean, 2 years ago, obviously, I was literally jumping up and down that Mizzou was able to cover like the 40-point spread when they were in Athens 2 years ago. So.
Yeah, definitely don't want to repeat. I was at that game in Athens. I can talk more about it on Thursday. I'm gonna ask you guys this though, because I looked up their the all-time matchup history between Mizzou and Georgia. When was the first game played between Mizzou and Georgia? Quick quiz.
I don't think it was when they were in the SEC.
I already know the answer.
Oh.
This kind of plays into my Ken's sports shorts, but do you want me to just say it?
Okay, I won't spoil.
No, I mean it just played into that. I was going to tell you guys, but no, that wasn't one of the answers.
Okay,
it's
good,
1960.
Good. Yeah, 1960 with Dan Devine as the head coach of the Missouri Tigers.
It was in a bowl game because it was in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
14-0.
14-0 Georgia.
Sad.
Tough. But yeah, anyway, I thought that was a fun tidbit. But yeah, we'll get to the preview on Friday. So we'll dive in and talk a little bit more about what to expect from the Dogs in a pretty fun ranked matchup. Other news. So the NBA started. We talked about it last show, and we had some Mizzou Tigers in and around the NBA, I'll say, because we're going to start with the man himself, Isiaih Mosley, also known as now having the most wholesome picture on Twitter. Isiaih Mosley was drafted in the G League. So the G League had its draft, and he went, I believe, number 9 or 8 over to the Greensboro Swarm, which is the 8 to the Swarm, which is the G League affiliate of the Charlotte Hornets. So pretty dope to see. Am I right? Like, just to see him still around basketball for one, and to have a chance now at the pros. We know how talented he was, the flashes he showed when he was there. And then, yeah, the picture, the best part of it all was the picture that Dennis posted on the day of the draft, giving him a big old hug. Just as wholesome Dennis as wholesome Dennis gets. But yeah, cool to see from Mr. Isiaih Mosley.
Yeah, no, that was I'm very happy for Isiaih Mosley. Gosh, when he didn't get to play much at Mizzou, what could have been there, but when he played, you could see just the potential electric offensive player he could have been. Um, Happy to see. I know everyone was kind of speculating, like, oh, does Dennis and him not like each other? Obviously, that was put to bed on senior day when Dennis walked walked Mosley uh, out for the senior day celebrations. But I wish it had worked out here. But very glad Isiaih Mosley's journey is not over. And gets to go to play in the Greensboro Coliseum. I'd assume is where this is. I've been in that building, lovely arena. Um, he'll have a nice home.
There you go.
Yeah, it wasn't even just Dennis too. It's DRF,
Mhm.
Ben Sternberg. At least everyone loved him, and it was very unfortunate that how his career ended at Mizzou. If he had played the full season, I mean, he could have been in that, post draft signing class and looking at more NBA teams got their eyes on him. Unfortunately, it didn't happen, but this is a good step forward. We know that he was balling out in Europe not too long ago, and everything's getting pieced together, and this guy deserves it. Mosley was one of the best players in Missouri State history, comes back home to where it all started in Columbia, and things just didn't go his way with some things that were probably holding him back a little bit off the court. And great to see him one step forward and maybe even move into an NBA discussion in the coming months or years.
Yeah, I mean, this is why the G League exists. It's to give, players like Isiaih Mosley a chance, right? So, let's see how what he does with it. It's a good opportunity. I mean, the Hornets aren't good, but that, might mean they give some more opportunities to some of these guys. Who knows? A LaMelo Ball, Isiaih Mosley backcourt seems pretty enticing to me. I think that'd be a fun watch. But yeah, congrats to Isiaih Mosley to going to the Greensboro Swarm in the G League. Other Mizzou moments in the NBA. First of all, we'll get to Kobe Brown. I know that's the big one, but shout out Jordan Clarkson. Nice buzzer beater for the Utah Jazz. It's give me some DeAndre Golson vibes. Just a pull up wing three. The Jazz trusting him there in a big moment. That was fun.
It wasn't really a buzzer beater. Like he had
Or yeah,
12.
game winner, I should say.
Yeah, but it was a game winner. He's him, man. He's probably God. Is he the best Mizzou NBA player like of this century? Really, I can't even think of many other examples.
Ooh. I mean, Damari Carroll
Oh yeah,
had his
DeMarre
moments.
Carroll.
Yeah.
MPJ
Good
has
debate,
been
I'd have to think
a
about that.
solid. That would be something I'd have to research more, but he's definitely up there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
I didn't look
he's a
this
champ.
up, but I'm looking it up now. I don't know if Jordan Clarkson and Kobe Brown maybe embraced after the game. 'Cause they both are Mizzou Tigers, but there's no
They were
tweets
playing
about
the
it.
Jazz.
So
The Jazz were playing the Clippers in that one.
I,
And speaking of Kobe Brown, he went on then, I think it was just last night with the Clippers, had made his debut. He came in, I think, or that wasn't his debut. He came in before and I think played like 1 minute and maybe got like a foul. I don't think he really did much, but we finally got to see, of course, Mizzou's first round pick show out. He made a three, had a bunch of rebounds, played really, really well, and then had a lob to Kenny's former favorite player, KJ Martin, Rockets legend. I know you're sad he's gone, but shout out Kobe Brown. He's getting
Yeah.
the minutes.
Man, KJ was fun to watch. Good dunker. He was in the dunk contest last year for the Rockets.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, I'm getting these stats from Drew King with the 3 points, 4 rebounds, assist, and a steal, plus 11 in 5 minutes. Can I just say I love Drew King? If you guys want to go back and listen to that interview with
It's a good interview.
just wholesome, very kind guy. He was asking us questions. Definitely going to have Drew King back on, and you should get a lot of your basketball information from Drew. Overall, that Kobe lob, I don't remember if this is right or not, but when there was a lob like a very famous lob last season against Arkansas, did Kobe pass that
To who?
to
I'm trying to remember.
Aiden Shaw? There was
about.
Aiden Shaw had that big dunk against Alabama, not Arkansas. If I said Arkansas,
That was Mosley. Because
Mosley passed it. Okay,
Mosley.
Yeah.
it kind of it gave
That
me
was-
that mememory.
I was just talking about that with Knowlton once. Was that like because Kobe got announced that he wasn't even playing that game, like because he hurt his
Mhm.
ankle, at the end of, I believe it was Arkansas. And there was like no hope, and then when Mosley lobbed that Aiden Shaw, they took the lead on that, and obviously it didn't
Yep.
work out, but that was like, I think that might have been either that, one of the moments against Arkansas at home, because that was another electric game, or that moment were probably the loudest moments of last season. But no, that was not Kobe Brown. Kobe Brown gave plenty of other reasons to get loud last season, but that was not him.
Yeah, but it was cool to see. Hey, the whole thing, he won the game and the number 1 pick didn't. So bust Victor Wembanyama. Maybe Kobe Brown should have gone number 1.
Give Kobe Brown more minutes.
People are saying. No, but it was cool to see Kobe on his not his debut, but his first, kind of true impact in the league.
When is Kobe Brown going to get his own K-pop group? You guys see
Yeah.
that video of the Spurs?
Yes, I did.
K-pop fans. I think
Mhm.
Kobe Brown needs his own groupies.
The joke is like Victor Wembanyama is going to get voted into the All-Star game as a rookie, because that's like what happened with like Andrew Wiggins, because he had like a big like K-pop fandom, and they all spammed the votes. He was also good, but yeah, shout out Kobe Brown. We'll see if Demoy can get in here soon for the Lakers. He'll have a lot of highlights, I'm sure, for the South Bay Lakers, their G League affiliate. You might have a Demoy versus Mosley game now. Lakers versus Charlotte. Yeah, some Mizzou.
The NBA would spend that much money to send G League teams that far? Do they play like that far away? If I'm taking the G League teams, I'm just making them play ones in the area.
Are far apart. That is true.
They're like thousands of miles away. I figured that you don't even play teams on the East Coast.
Shoot, I guess I don't know. I figured they just played everybody in the G League, but you're right. That would be a far trip.
They don't do that in minor league baseball, at least. But
that's a good point. Okay, well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we just trade Mosley to, I don't know, the Ontario Clippers. Anyway, shout out to Kobe. And yeah, Tigers in the NBA doing well. But we don't even need to really report on Michael Porter Jr. He's doing his thing. Okay, I'm segueing back to football now, because this was a good question we got in the YouTube, which drop comments and questions and stuff, because it gives us good talking points, especially on buys and stuff like this. We obviously talked about Ryan Wingo, and Peyton, I think it was you that, you were kind of skeptical in terms of how much you thought Mizzou would go back in for him, now that Texas has secured his commitment, at least for now. And this prompted a question on the YouTube. Kenny, if you have the name, I don't see it, but I'll read the question. And it's about Williams Nwaneri. So do you think that Williams Nwaneri should leave his recruitment open? OU is bitter that he chose Mizzou over them. Wingo has the right to take the best offer because of his name today, and he has the right to do what's best for him and his family, and asked us to put ourselves in Wingo's position for Texas. So yeah, what do you think about that? Like, does this change the tune for Nwaneri? What's your guys' take on that?
Well, I'll hit on the last part about putting myself in Wingo's. I don't blame Ryan Wingo at all for committing to Texas if their offer was the biggest. Like, yeah, you have every right in the world to do that. Doesn't mean I'm not going to be a little frustrated still, because I wanted him to come to Mizzou. But if I was Nwaneri, yes, I would definitely leave my recruitment open. I think if you were any prospect that committed to a big time school, you should at least leave the door cracked open. And Wingo said he was going to leave the door open. But overall, I just kind of have a hard time seeing. I really don't think Nwaneri's going to flip. There hasn't been much buzz around that. Wingo is just, Mizzou felt like they were the leader up until the moment he picked up the hat. And I feel like maybe that's a little different than Nwaneri. I don't blame Ryan Wingo at all. He got the best offer from Texas. He did what's best for him, what's best for his family. You can't fault that. But I feel like the Mizzou coaching staff, I'm not saying they are. I think it's possible they'll feel a little bit like the rug was pulled out from under them. Maybe they don't pursue him that hard after after what happened.
Yeah, you still have until December 20th is the early signing day, which is when you expect a lot of these high-tier college football or recruits to sign. Gives them an opportunity to play in the spring and enroll early, which you see a lot with. And it's not just financially keeping the door open, keeping the phone on. It's about, how soon can I make an impact? For guys like Williams Nwaneri and Ryan Wingo, they're guys who can be, inserted right away for a lot of programs. Maybe not Alabama or Georgia, the ones that are just consistently putting in 5 stars. Maybe not even Texas with how many 5 stars they can reel in each year. But, the question remains, how can I get, how soon can I get to the league? You're trying to get through college. You want to make an impact. You want to make your money. And if that opportunity is at Texas for Ryan Wingo, he sees himself moving through, then he's going to take it. But it's good to keep the phone on. And we talked about it last time we were on here, that his dad and himself mentioned that if, some other offers on the table, a better offer, we're going to evaluate it and look at it. It's not a closed book. And I mean, we know that there may be a late push there from Texas is what we've heard, what we've read. And I mean, he's not going to just cancel his whole commitment day after we all thought he was going to commit to Texas. He's just going to commit to Missouri. He's going to commit to Texas on that day. Anything can happen in the next couple of months. But I mean, I wouldn't close the door for anyone. I mean, that's just how it is. It's never official until the pen hits paper.
Yeah, recruitment is just such. I think even especially for those who cover it, it just gets so frustrating because you hear a million different things every day. I mean, these are 18-year-old kids deciding, the whole future is rooted in this decision. And obviously with the transfer portal and stuff, it allows you to kind of pick and choose even a little bit more if stuff doesn't work out. That's always another avenue. I've embraced keeping that open, is building through the portal. And that idea where if Wingo even does go to Texas, you keep that relationship no matter what he does on his commitment day or what he does on his signing day. You keep that open.
And I don't think we've seen it as much recently, but if a guy enters the portal, right at the end of the season, you want to get in there as soon as you can, let people know I'm going in the portal to give myself an opportunity to just find a team quickly, find people talking to you quickly. I don't know how much that would affect, even a signing. This is a hypothetical bringing in here, not even saying building anything off you said, Jack, but if someone enters a portal, say a star wide receiver, Wingo sees that, perfect opportunity. I'm going to be the number one option. I'm going to get myself into this rotation as soon as I can. Maybe it's a little bit different for guys in more middle of the road than what they're going to do. But that's something I've been kind of thinking about as well. Is if someone enters a portal, how soon can I make an impact?
Yeah, definitely. Kenny's dogs sound like they want to enter the transfer portal. I don't know. Yeah, no, I think you guys both make a lot of good points. It's just it's so tricky. And yeah, I can understand Mizzou fans' bitterness, but yeah, I mean, Wingo, you hope, because there are some situations where you do have guys that stuff comes out that maybe they're not the ones, making the decision, or it's not the thing that they want to do. That sometimes can happen. There's other people that want to influence them because they know they're talented and stuff. And obviously, I'm not suggesting that that's the situation here, and I hope it isn't. But yeah, Wingo, you got to respect his decision in the end, and hopefully it's just the right one for him. But we'll see. No reason for Mizzou not to keep that relationship open. And yeah, I didn't mention, Kenny, you put the name in. Shout out the Magic Man for that question. Great. We appreciate that. Oh, and then going back, you also said, Kenny, they do play South Bay, Mosley's team, January 20th. So circle your calendars. Mosley versus Des Moines Hodge down in Greensboro.
One last thing on the Mizzou front. The SEC on TV times were announced. Mizzou got 6-day windowed. So we don't know the official time yet. Them, Florida and LSU. This is their game against Tennessee, by the way.
Next week.
So Mizzou, Tennessee coming to Mizzou, Florida at LSU, and Ole Miss at Georgia all got 6-day windowed. So Mizzou could have either the CBS game, the big one, the big daddy, the one they have this week against Tennessee. That'll be 2:30 Central. Or they could have the night game on ESPN, 6 p.m. Central. Or they could get SEC Network at 6:30 p.m. Central. Again, Florida at LSU also got that. Ole Miss at Georgia also got that. So those three will be selected after this week. Tell you
week.
what, man, if Mizzou wins this weekend, and that's obviously a big if, tell you what, I think game day could be having their eyes on Mizzou, Tennessee. I'll tell you what. But
It's a good
hey,
tease, Peyton.
gotta get through this week first. But and
Yeah,
if
they
Mizzou
got through the
loses, they'll
bye.
probably get if Mizzou loses, they're probably getting SEC network. But here's
Right.
what it is.
Yeah, good
I think
point.
it's good to be in that conversation too, like not
It's
knowing
fun.
when you're going to play because you're playing well. And if you beat
Right.
Georgia, you're
Earned
going to
it.
get a good primetime game. And I mean, some people might be frustrated looking at that, but I think it's fun. It's fun not to know, and it means lets you know that the SEC is looking good this year all the way around.
I'm backing you there, Kenny. There's no like when it comes to a pragmatic outlook on this Georgia game, do I think they're going to win? Probably not. But it's nice to at least be able to have a discussion about it, not a how much are they going to lose or can they cover. It's like a, can they do something wild here? Can they have a headline, a college football headline defining win? There's like the chances there. This team has put itself in a spot to have that happen. And that's fun.
What about leading for 3 quarters and collapsing in the 4th?
That's a headline. I mean, yeah,
I think that
they're a
could be
good enough
something.
team. They're a good enough team to do that.
Deja vu is what
Yeah.
Peter Bland at the Columbia, Missouri will put on his headline.
Prediction. That happens again. Pete, did he get there? Yeah, shout outs. We'll see what goes down. We're going to preview the game on Friday. But with that, we'll keep the show rolling. We'll head over and do a quick hits. We have a little refined quick hits, so we'll explain how that goes in just a second. Okay, quick hits time. Kenny, I'm throwing it over to you because we're switching up the quick hits format a little bit. And you have Ken Sports Shorts.
Yeah, it was no longer quick. It was actually really long, so it was more of long hits instead of quick hits. So we've abbreviated it. When you're listening to the Friday shows, you'll hear Jersey of the Week. You'll hear Guess at College, our NFL picks, as well as Shawnee's Main Bird and the best thing we learned this week. On the Monday shows from now on, you'll hear Ken Sports Shorts, best beats of the week, which usually just going to be our college football ones from Bet Online, our Dirty Birds, and then our NFL fraud rankings. And we'll give you some ratios as well just to keep you on the Twitter sphere and keep you happy. That's how kind of quick hits will look moving forward. Could change.
We're just like dividing up the segments more, so we have more of a variety. So
we're not like repeating ourselves with some of the stuff each weekend, and it could change again at some point, but that's how it's going to look moving forward for now on.
I like no capping. He's the main bird.
Still get that. That's all that matters. And with that, what's your sports shorts?
My sports shorts. So it's a 4-part question for this week. Jack answered the first part by saying when was the first time Missouri and Georgia faced each other. So I'm going to ask you real quick, what do you think the record is all time between the Tigers and the Bulldogs?
Okay, well, I know Mizzou has one win ever against Georgia. That is it. One win ever. And it was the Bud Sasser touchdown throw game in like 2013.
Was that the last time both those teams were ranked playing each other?
I want to say in 18 or something. There was a very hyped Georgia Mizzou game recently, like in recent history. You might be right, but I want to say in 18 Mizzou was also right.
Yeah, I'm probably wrong. I for some reason I remember hearing like a thing the last time they were both ranked, Mizzou won the game, but
they were not ranked.
But
they were undefeated.
That's probably what it was because they had beaten
in 18 or in
Purdue
13.
18. 13 it was the last one. Number 7
ranked.
against 25.
Okay, so
yeah, 25. That's right.
So
they're both ranked again.
Has played Georgia every year they've been in the SEC. I don't think there was any. Yeah, because they've always been in the East. So 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So that's 10 losses right there. Plus the bowl game loss we mentioned earlier. They're at least 1-11.
That's correct. So the Tigers are 1-11 against the Bulldogs in their history. You got to correct that win was in 2013. So that's where my next question is. I want you to give me the leading passer, the leading rusher, and the leading receiver for the Tigers.
Leading passer, James Franklin was hurt that game, so it was Matty Mock. It was Matty Mock.
Matty Mock. Okay.
No.
Was
Oh,
Was
it
it
was
Franklin?
Franklin?
James Franklin threw for 170 yards. Matty Mock
Okay.
did play in this game.
Okay, so Franklin got hurt during this game. The leading rusher. Was it Henry Josie?
No, very close though.
Wasn't Josie?
Josie had 51 yards. The leading rusher
Oh God,
57.
it's very
I
close.
don't think I'm
51
gonna
yards.
get this then.
Not a good game on the ground.
I hardly knew Mizzou existed in 13, unfortunately.
I'm trying to remember who it. I don't
Do you
know.
have
I don't know
any
who the other
guesses
guy
on-
was.
And the leading receiver was
When
the
was-
other one?
Correct.
Was the
And you know the
okay.
leading receiver very well.
What was
Macklin?
it? Dorial?
No.
No, no to
yeah.
both.
Macklin was done by then.
Oh God, that
2013
receiver
this
room
was?
really good in 13. But I'm blanking on the names.
Doyle Green
wasn't-
Beckham had 35 yards.
It wasn't Bud Sasser, right?
He had 21 yards and a
He
40-yard
threw
passing.
Yeah, he threw a touchdown. I bet it was the guy he threw the touchdown
He
to.
threw it to.
I can't
What
think
is
of
his
his name.
name?
The hint is
It's not
that he is
LaDainian
now a
Washington,
coach.
is it?
It is LaDainian Washington.
Okay.
Damian Washington. Oh my God. Yeah.
Marcus Lucas was second with 39 yards, with LaDainian Washington had 7 receptions for 115 yards and 2
Who
touchdowns.
was the running back?
The
No,
running back.
Wait. Is it I know the name, don't I?
I don't think so.
Is it Demario? It's not Crockett then. Who is it? I'll just take the answer.
Marcus Murphy.
Oh, I do know him. Yeah, he was
This might be a little too early for Crockett.
Yeah, it is too early for Crockett. But I do know Marcus Murphy. They had like 3 pretty damn good running backs in that room.
Mhm.
All right, next part.
Okay.
Or was that the last?
That's it. You guys did well this week on Ken's Sports Shorts, so we'll move into
Peyton
best
carried
beats.
that. I didn't do anything.
You were there. You got an A on
I
the
was there.
project too.
Moral support. I said Jared
Okay,
Macklin
so-
was just way off P.
I've watched the highlights of that game. It was pretty hype.
All right, it's been a week since we've done our best beats of the week. We've been looking at college football mainly since it's been back for Bet Online. We got a sweep last time. Jack and myself are 18 and 15. Peyton's one ahead of us at 19 and 14. So let's keep it rolling.
Yeah, well done, boys.
With the Mizzou Tigers legend Connor Bazelak taking on Ball State at home on Wednesday. Bowling Green is favored by 6 points. Steamroll. We're going to steamroll Boogie Coleman University. And
Former Boogie Coleman University. They're not playing Nebraska. Ugh, Connor Bazelak.
You're betting on Maction, huh? Getting in early.
just get chills every time I think of when I see that Mac logo.
That's real football.
All right. I am going to call my shot here. Officially declare Arkansas dead. I think Florida stinks, and I'm still taking them.
Not back.
I'm still taking them by 6 over Arkansas. I think the Dan Enos firing still will not fix the issues on this team enough. I think Florida is dead. Or no, not Florida. I think they're probably dead too. But Arkansas, I think, is screwed. I think Florida really needs a win here, especially because their upcoming schedule is a gauntlet. So I think they're motivated to win here. So give me Tom Petty's Gators.
Chomp. Oh, I didn't say Can Enos last time when he got fired.
Oh
Can
yeah,
Enos.
Can Enos.
Can Enos. So the last time Kenny mentioned it's been a week. The last time we did best beats, I was very excited about my Sicko game. I went Iowa, Minnesota, took the under. I think it was 30.5. I want to say, and profited on that bet. Going right back to it. More Sicko. We had news Iowa. They finally cut ties allegedly with Brian Ferentz. There's some rumblings.
It sounds like he's just not going to be back after 2024.
Okay, well, so they're crumbling. You know, they had the goal all year to average all those points. They're not going to do it. Brian Ferentz is out the door. They're playing Northwestern this week. The over/under is set at 31, and I can't not bet on a Sicko game. Give me the under for Iowa and Northwestern. That game will end 9-3, all field goal fest. over there it's in Northwestern at Ryan Field. Sicko.
There's
I
a
think
Northwestern game this year at Wrigley Field, and
it's this
Oh,
one.
that might be it. It's this one. Sorry,
it's
this is
this
at Wrigley.
one. Oh, it's
Yeah.
even worse.
It's
I remember
so
a couple
sicko.
years ago there was a game at Wrigley Field, and they realized they could only go one way on the field because it was too close to the ivy, and they didn't want players running into a wall.
Yep.
This is stupid. You're playing at this field, and then Northwestern already sucks enough. They've already had a really terrible year with losing their head coach. I mean, why even do this?
I mean, they're 4-4. They're playing for bowl eligibility still. They've got Illinois left on the schedule. Very winnable game. Very bowl eligible game.
Can they still be in the 7-way tie? I think that got broken finally, that there could have been a 7-way tie in the Big Ten West. They're like all going to go 4 and 5. There's a lot of sicko stuff that can happen.
But
the fact they can be bowl eligible is crazy.
Knowlton, I don't think this one's going to hit. And I don't even.
You're wrong.
I'm going to be honest. I think Northwestern is a better offense than Minnesota. And Brian Ferentz is the news of his demise. I mean, it's going to rally Beacon Hill and the Fighting Hawkeyes. So I think Iowa's going to play inspired, put up like a cool 17, and that'll be enough. I think it's a 17-14 final. The over hits by
That's
1
a fair.
point.
That's a fair spin. 9-3 Iowa.
Also, this is I don't know
care.
why everyone's freaking out. This is like probably the highest over under Wrigley has had all year. So
That was a good joke.
Good
One of your
good
best.
Next up, Dirty Birds, Kenny.
Dirty Bird of the weekend. Kansas makes it on here twice.
Yeah, they're going to
Kansas
be on
football
here twice.
Takes down Oklahoma. Probably shoots the Big 12's chances of making it into the playoff this year, taking out the only team that was undefeated. Also, Oklahoma lost on my cousin's birthday. A big Oklahoma fan, Nick Dalheim, who's been on our show a couple times now, especially for college basketball in the NCAA tournament. Unfortunate for him, especially on his birthday. Kansas, Lance Leopold, choose your next job. We're going to put some on the table. We're going to give you a couple hats. Michigan State, and that green's a little nice. Man, maybe you'll be a Spartan.
Razorback.
yeah, no, shut the hell up. Don't ever say that again, okay?
Wisconsin OC, please.
Sure. Why
Phil
I
Long
don't know
goes
why
out.
I don't know why he'd ever do that, but no, I mean, this was a big win for Kansas football, maybe their biggest win in program history. I guess they won the Orange Bowl that one time, or whatever it was. But there were like 40 people that were there, like after the rain delay.
Yeah, it was
People did not
empty.
give a damn about football at that school at all. I mean, Lance Leipold, the whole thing earlier this season came out about him being frustrated with attendance. That could not have helped. Like, yes, they rushed the field, all like 85 people that were left in the stadium. But
Hey, they got those goalposts down though. They threw them in a bog.
they did, yes. For whatever reason, they threw it in a bog. Take it to Harpo's like a man.
Yeah.
But Kenny has something to add, I'm sure.
Kenny?
But Lance
Yeah, I do.
Leipold is gone.
Instead of putting it in the private chat from now on, can we do a raise hand situation and whoever's talking has to call on you?
We're going to do like a little movement on their face every time. Why are they
Popcorn?
so itchy? Okay, here's my. Yeah, you can't do that, Peyton. Here's a fun quote from our good friend Peter Zimmerman, who played baseball for the Mizzou Tigers. KU supports their cheater basketball coach, but can't support their football coach, who resurrected their program from the depths of hell. No wonder Leopold will be departing soon. Just hope it's not Arkansas. Peyton's in the same boat.
Amen, Peter
Leopold.
Zimmerman.
I apologize that I keep pronouncing his name wrong.
I thought it was Leopold for the longest time, too. Just keep saying Leopold. It'll make them angry. For their coach
I miss
that'll
Les
be there for
Miles
2
as the
months.
Kansas head coach. That's all I gotta
my
say.
God.
That was
we need
such
to bring
a
back Les Miles.
funny era. The funniest
Insanity.
era ever.
Leipold, I hope he doesn't go to Arkansas because I like Lance Leipold. That's UW
I
Whitewater
don't.
legend.
I'll like him once he leaves. I don't like him right now. But
Yeah, fair.
moving on, I'll have the one non-Kansas Dirty Bird. My Dirty Bird's the Falcons. Desmond Ritter continues to be the dirtiest bird. I mean, he's just no good. But the Falcons defense also needs some dirty bird shouts here. I mean, Will Levis making his MLB debut. NFL. NFL debut. Throws 4 absolute bombs for touchdown passes. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, that had to be like a new sensation for Hopkins. Like having those find him. Ryan Tannehill, their starter for perspective, had 2 touchdowns all year. Will Levis comes in and immediately doubles it. Will it last? I still kind of lean no. I don't really love Will Levis, but great NFL debut for him. Falcons. That was a very winnable game that they bottled.
Somehow they can still win that division.
They could. They probably will. Or are you talking about the Titans?
The Falcons.
Yeah, they probably will win the division.
Speaking of that division, did you guys? I don't know what station. I mean, I don't have a NFL ticket or Sunday ticket, so I watch just the straight up games. And on CBS, they like to show all of some of the winning coaches and what they say after. And they showed Dennis Allen. That's why I was thinking about this division and maybe the Saints pull it off. Jameis Winston standing in the background, big belly, just hanging out in just a towel, just looking there going like that. And I'm like, this is the best backup quarterback of all time. I love Jameis Winston. I was watching that and I was just like, this guy is him. Like, it's just like he just loves football, loves being a backup. And it was so funny.
He's a character. Yeah, Falcons. The NFC South is something. Okay, my dirty bird. We mentioned more Kansas. I'm going to the sport that Kansas fans actually care about, which is men's basketball. Because we're in preseason scrimmage season. Obviously, the men's basketball starts up in a week or so. But Kansas played Illinois and lost 82-75. Number 1 Kansas goes down. So the NCAA March Madness account tweeted it, said October with the sprinkle of March. Illinois winning 82-75. I know it's a scrimmage, but it's still kind of, it set off college basketball Twitter, who's, yearning for some good content. Hunter Dickinson, who of course transferred to Kansas, has never beaten Illinois. He's winless all time against Illinois. And he was asked about his relationship with Illinois fans, and his answer was just like, I don't know. Bad question. And the best part of all of this is that Jeff Goodman, who is a prominent college basketball reporter, his Twitter got hacked and was just spewing, among other things, like stuff about Illinois and KU, and it was something. But 30 birds, they're not even good at basketball. What's going on in Kansas?
Did Kansas actually wear the Maui jerseys for this game, or was that an old photo?
I think they did. The like flower.
Not even in Maui. Was it at home or in Illinois?
I think it was at.
Oh no, it says Maui on them. If you look at the photo that Kansas men's basketball tweeted, it says Maui on the legs.
Maybe it was in Maui.
Oh, it might have been.
Oh no, definitely it was not. It was the Maui Strong exhibition, but it was in Champaign.
Oh, okay. Well,
interesting.
Hunter Dickinson apparently got under some people's skin again, like in an
he tends to do that.
Yeah. But God, yuck.
Yeah, kind of 2 teams Mizzou doesn't like at all, but I just thought it was funny. Kansas, got a big win in football, and then their basketball team's not going to be under some heat, even though it is literally just an exhibition. But had to call them out anyway. All right, next, Kenny, you ready for this? we have a new fraud. Go, Kenny. He's got fire up. Fire up.
5. This has never been said before. It's never been done before. But the Houston Texans can't win on the road. Bryce Young waltzing in a good 0-6, little short guy to be put up on a little pedestal to see over the line. He scores. 235 yards for Bryce Young and a touchdown. Walk-off field goal again. The Texans have lost 2 games like that this season. Number 4 in the fraud rankings. The terrible towels. What are those little yellow towels doing? Not enough for Pittsburgh to respond to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence talking some smack. walking the walk, 292 yards, a touchdown, interception. Mitchell Trubisky got to this game, a good friend of our co-host Peyton Haverman, 138 yards, touchdown, 2 picks. Never going to be a fraud again, Mitch Trubisky. Number 3, coming in at number 3. How can we not talk about Cleveland? We're talking about fraud. Good defense here.
This is for fraud.
This is for fraud.
PJ Walker, 248 yards, touchdown, 2 interceptions. Can we even call him a fraud? You know who's the real fraud? They wrote me off. I didn't write back. 254 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. This is your quarterback yet? There's a good guy on that bench that could probably be a little bit better.
Yeah, he was actually really bad.
20, Seattle.
Fraud.
Coming in at number 3, we're going to take it down to Peyton Haverman on the sideline, or to Jack Knowlton on the sideline. Take it away.
Yeah, Kenny, I'm here braving the cold weather on the Broncos sideline. They were throwing snowballs the night before Colorado State, but I got Patrick Mahomes here. Patrick, this is the first Chiefs loss against the Broncos since 2015. Some are calling you a fraud. What happened?
Yeah, I don't know. It just felt like there was a little too much snow. Mecole Hardman couldn't catch the ball. I would hesitate to call us frauds. We're still 6-2, reigning Super Bowl champions. Go Chiefs!
Patrick, one more question for you. They say Travis Kelce's not gonna play well anymore now that Taylor Swift's on her tour. Do you have any comment on that?
Well, you know, we all love Taylor. Her Eras tour is something to behold. I think Travis just has to keep doing it.
Patrick Mahomes turned
Back to you,
into
Kenny.
a Canadian there for the last couple words. Coming in number 1 of the fraud rankings is the San Francisco 49ers. Another loss. It's Brock Purdy at the helm. Brock Purdy coming out of concussion protocol with 365 yards, touchdown, 2 picks. Joe Burrow really turned it around here with the 4th win for the Bengals, 283 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's going to do it for fraud rankings this
And
week.
your Seattle Seahawks are atop the Fraudy Niners. Well done.
That was a well-timed ending too with that music.
I didn't know Patrick Mahomes was Canadian. News
Yeah,
to
I
me.
don't know. I think it might have been just poor effort for the Mahomes translator there.
I see.
Interpreter.
Translator.
It was so snowy that they had to bring in an interpreter. And
Yeah,
I think the
right.
interpreter did a poor job.
It was cold. My mic was barely working for that interview. All right, let's end it. We got ratio /joke/box/ community note of the weekend. We have 3 of them. Who wants to go first?
Peyton should take Carlos Boozer.
Okay, Carlos Boozer, this one.
This is so funny.
Carlos Boozer tweeted my picks. So it was just like, a sponsorship. My picks for NBA opening night with boosted odds at Betway USA. He had a little bit of a parlay here, just a 2 pick. He had the Suns plus 1.5 and Lakers plus 5.5. But his video explaining this, man, I mean, it's like a blurry background. He's so close to the camera. He's still bald like Carlos Boozer has always been. He got the top reply is a guy saying this don't even look real. It has 29.1 million views, by the way.
Oh my god!
It
Good
has
for that
it has
sponsorship. No free ads.
888 replies. It has, because Elon hit it now, we can only tell you it has 3.6 quote/retweets, and it has 3,000 likes. And 999 bookmarks to boot. I'm not sure what people are bookmarking this for, but Carlos Boozer, ratio of the week number 1.
I'll put a clip of it in the YouTube. It is a very funny video.
The smile at the end kills me.
Yeah. Kenny, I'll do the last one if you want to do Lane.
Yeah, I got Lane Kiffin. It's a dog, actually. It's not even Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, sorry. Right.
Well, I also love how Juice Kiffin, Lane Kiffin's dog, is associated with Ole Miss on Twitter. It has the attachment on its account. So Austin Keys, who transferred from Ole Miss to Auburn this past season after playing 3 years with the Rebels, posted to X, the grass way greener. Got 1,000 likes. Juice Kiffin replied with a selfie in a nice patch of green grass, and got 2.6 thousand likes. Keys replied, delete this, with money in the hand, like the meme with the dollars, and he's like trying to hand it over, and that was pretty funny. A good interaction there.
That's a
Lane
fun,
Kiffin's always so fun.
that's a
The
fun
initial-
interaction. Go ahead.
Well, the initial tweet from Keys was from January, and then
Yeah.
the
Well,
quote
because
tweet
it was
from
right after Ole
October.
Miss beat Auburn.
Oh, okay, sure. So there's some.
Yeah, and
Wow, even the receipts.
Lane Kiffin is so funny. This dude literally is taking photos of his dog and tweeting from his own dog's account after he beats a player that left his own program. That's unbelievable. But the Lane train keeps rolling, folks.
Yeah, shout out, greatest Twitter coach ever. The last ratio of the week. This is a ratio of the weekend. Excuse me. Of course, it's sponsored by Justin T. Bear. Shout out to Justin. This comes from Michael Rosenberg on Twitter, who wrote, as he says in this tweet, I wrote about one of the most pervasive myths in college football. The head coach knows everything. The photo in question is of Jim Harbaugh. Of course, Jim Harbaugh going through a big time cheating scandal with the University of Michigan. The Sean Deere, I don't know if there's any relation to John Deere, but he's got a Sparty shirt on in his profile, so clearly we know who he lines with. He said, wow, the guy who wrote Rich Rod hit pieces and tried to stump for Harbaugh in 2011 is holding Harbaugh's bathwater now. Shocked. That got 185 likes compared to the 71 likes and 160 replies that Rosenberg's initial tweet of his story had. Yeah, why are we defending Harbaugh? Let's be better here.
I didn't read this story. I don't know much about this guy as a journalist. So I can't comment too much, but I will say just be appreciative, especially if you're a Mizzou fan, that you don't have fan journalists. I'm not saying this guy is because I don't know anything about him. I didn't read the story, but it sure seems like people think he is. And it just makes me all the more happy to not have that kind of journalism around.
He's a Michigan grad as well, and he took another hit on X. Someone saying you look at other schools like Northwestern, Florida, Arizona State, Syracuse, Missouri, and there's a lot of non-bias once you get into that kind of work of being a reporter, and you see it from those schools that they put their school behind them and they don't even show it. This guy's really showing it. He hasn't posted or written an article since October 26th when this came out.
Ooh. Doing a little darkness retreat. It's got some thinking to do. Yeah, the whole Michigan thing is just it's so crazy. The stuff that's come out about how like they maybe helped South Carolina beat Tennessee to like not have Tennessee go to the playoff. Like if all of and Clemson. Yeah. If all this stuff is true, it's so insane. But we won't find out for months and years because the NCAA moves like a snail on issues unless it involves Mizzou.
Rogue tutors.
But yeah, that's neither here nor there. All right, we'll move on. We're gonna finish with the SEC tier list. Speaking of Mizzou a little bit, we'll recap kind of the bye week, just some of the good, the bad, and the ugly around the SEC to close out the show. Okay, we're gonna finish the show. We got the SEC tier list to end things off. We're gonna revisit the week. Mizzou was on bye. I hope Mizzou fans, you all got to enjoy a stress-free weekend of football, not having to worry about Mizzou dropping game, because now it's going to get very stressful all week. But yeah, SEC tier list. We're going to start. I see no reason to change this. He had the greatest play of all time a couple of weeks back. We're keeping the Georgia tier open and exclusive to Mr. Luke Bauer. I am putting my foot down on that. Luke Bauer is the GOAT, best quarterback in Mizzou history. It's just epic. Next tier below them, though, and we can go by these teams one by one. A couple of them on by, a couple of them had kind of cupcake games, whatever. I'm calling this the CFP question mark tier. I'm inspiring this off of Gabe DeArmond of Power Mizzou, who I think had like a series of tweets where he was like, there's 12 teams that control their own destiny. And then some people reply and he'd be like, there's 13 teams that control their own destiny in college football to like reach the playoff. So I'm inspiring this off of him because I think it's a good way to talk about the cream of the crop in the SEC. I have in the CFP tier Georgia, Alabama, LSU, Ole Miss, and the Mizzou Tigers, who, of course, I think still very much control their destiny to reach that point. We mentioned it being fun that we're able to talk about Mizzou in this spot. You can give your takes on those teams however you see fit.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair. I think any of those teams that if they win out, because that would include an SEC title game win, presumably over Georgia, or every team in that tier is going to have to beat Georgia in some way or another. I think that's probably the most fair way to put it, especially with Oklahoma losing. That takes another team really out of the equation because an unbeaten Oklahoma would have made it in over a 12-1 Mizzou. Like, spin it however you want. That would have been how it happened. It's how it probably deserved to happen. But with them out, I would assume Washington looks like it's going to lose a game at some point. They don't look invincible at all. I think it's very fair to assume that any of these teams, even LSU, I think LSU, if they were to win out, I think there's a very good chance they make it.
I'm glad we're getting LSU Alabama this week as well. Kind of can start putting some of these games to rest. And if LSU wins, then there's a lot of conversation about who comes out of the West. It's just so exciting. It's exciting to see a lot of these. We brought it up in the first segment that you're seeing a lot more of these SEC teams just competing at the top. And it's not just Alabama, Georgia moving around and LSU mixing its way in sometimes, or even Tennessee maybe last year fighting for a chance. If the Tigers beat Georgia, then it's going to be a lot of fun to see how the rest of the East can shake out.
Yeah, if you want parity, Ole Miss up there too. If you want parity, you should be rooting for Mizzou if you're an objective fan on Saturday. That would make it more weird to figure out who's going to come out of both the divisions. But yeah, next tier down, I just have the winner tier. I put Tennessee in here. Still a good team. We mentioned where they could come in. They're on their bye, I believe, this week, but beat Kentucky. So that was a good win for them. So I put them in the winner tier.
I mean,
they have UConn this week. So I guess that is
a
bye.
Sorry. Basically a bye. Yeah. Hey, Jim Mora.
He's 1-6.
7.
Risky and fun.
1-7.
Okay. Well, tier below winner, I put winner but bad. And in this tier, I put the Auburn Tigers and the Texas A&M Aggies. Auburn beating Mississippi State 27-13. Texas A&M beat South Kakalaka 30-17. But I don't think either of these teams are very good.
We'll get into South Carolina a little, but I mean, A&M handled their business. Kenny and I figured this out. There's a damn trophy in the A&M South Carolina series. There is a trophy in the A&M South. I don't even remember the name. Kenny was telling me about this. I thought he was trolling me, but I looked it up. Do you know the two people that were involved in making this trophy? Nikki Haley and Rick Perry. Okay.
Oh, God.
Two very well-known names were responsible for making this trophy that apparently teams just the own players and coaches in this rivalry did not know it existed for the longest time. The trophy, Kenny, do you have the name of it?
It's the Bonham Trophy,
yeah.
named for South Carolina graduate James Bonham, who fought at the Alamo, which is 170 miles from the Texas A&M campus in San Antonio.
And now the trophy, they apparently just because it was such a made-up thing that, like, it was, okay, I was reading an article about it. It was inspired by the Governor's Cup, Mizzou and South Carolina's little friendly cup thing. And then it just, like, it didn't catch on. Now the trophy, so, like, players and coaches for each side were asked about it, like, a long time ago, like 2015 or something. And some of them didn't even know it existed. And nobody knew where it was. But then the Alamo, like, I don't know, the Historical Alamo Catacombs Society or something announced that they had the trophy still. So technically, A&M is still the reigning winner of the Bonham Trophy. This one is a dumb rivalry. I will say this, like, you can say maybe Mizzou, South Carolina has a little bit of a made-up rivalry, but, they at least have the gimmick of being in the same city name, and they're both in the same division. I mean, these two are East-West rivals. I mean, it's not the same thing. But yeah, that was just a funny little thing Kenny found out. I didn't even hear them say it on the broadcast, but
there's an article from 2021 that I'm reading from the All Aggies Fan Nation that just says it's like what it said one A&M administrator said he does not even know where the trophy is or when he's last seen
Yeah.
it.
That was what I was reading.
All right, there you go, ghost trophy. Maybe I'll put that trophy in winner, just because it's coming back to some limelight. But yeah, next tier down, I did the idle tier. Mizzou, Alabama, and LSU were all on bye this week, so not playing. They won the bye week. And then tier below that, Kenny. Last time we had an SEC tier list, they were in the back tier. This week, they're going down in the not back tier. I know it's Georgia. I don't care. Florida is not back. They were back. They're not back any longer.
Telling you, man, when Georgia feels a little bit of pressure or they feel like they have something to prove, they will stomp whoever they want out. I mean, there was a lot of sneaky buzz for Florida in this game. Definitely take Florida to cover. Maybe they'll outright win. This game was over by halftime. I mean, it was 26-7 at half. Florida did get the first start here. I mean, they had the touchdown on their opening drive. From there, it was all Florida, all Georgia. Georgia just manhandled them start to finish.
Yeah, man. I was doing it as a joke for a little bit, saying that Florida was good, and it really just did not pay off on my end. I was trying to be different, and I apologize to all my fans and all the Florida people that might stumble across this, which there's probably zero of you.
He does love Gainesville. He loves.
I love Gainesville, except for the traffic. It sucks, but the rest of it's fun.
Don't get them started on Auburn, though.
No.
You want to get me started on Auburn? Actually, I just read something. Peyton Thorne, Auburn Stadium energy is best in the country. I agree.
We're gonna do the loser tier. Is the next tier. That take is a loser take. Put that in there. But I mentioned a team that I missed a team that was on bye. I mentioned Mizzou, Bama, and LSU. Oh yeah, the Arkansas Razorbacks were also on bye, but they're still in losers. I think they're the only team this season that could probably lose their bye week. They just stink. I put them in loser along with Mike Griffith, who is he covers Georgia, represents Georgia. I'm not even sure what he does.
Fanboy journalist.
Yeah. He's just a fan journalist of Georgia because he went on Feinbaum and was kind of ripping Paul Feinbaum a new one for saying that Eli Drinkwitz should be considered for Coach of the Year in the SEC, which is not a hot take at all. But Mike Griffith, whatever, dude. Means they're worried, guys. Means they're worried.
Props to Paul Feinbaum also for standing his ground fully on this case. This guy was really carrying Kirby Smart's water. I mean, he was just going, I don't understand what a guy that's hasn't lost a game in 2 years has to do to win National Coach of the Year and all that, which fair enough point. I mean, Kirby Smart absolutely, I think, is among the top 2 or 3 best coaches in the nation. The thing is, that's the expectation for Georgia now. You're not going to win for meeting your expectations. And whether that's fair or not, that's just what it is. I mean, the coach of the year is always going to be the coach that does the biggest turnaround job. And right now, I would say that would be Eli Drinkwitz. I especially in the SEC. I would say maybe Nick Saban, if he can get Alabama to finish 11-1 and Mizzou finishes 9-3. Maybe Nick Saban wins it because that would probably be his best coaching job in years that he's had to do. But right now, I don't think it's a stretch to say that Mizzou absolutely has the SEC Coach of the Year on its sidelines.
My favorite part of this, I was just looking more research on Mike Griffith, is that he used to be a beat writer for Idaho State. Really moved up the ladder.
The Fighting Ed Changs.
Idaho State, Michigan State, Tennessee, Auburn, and Alabama. Now Georgia.
He's covered all of those?
Correct.
Bouncing around. Yeah, that was a loser take. Next tier, Dogwater tier, we have Vanderbilt, South Carolina, Mississippi State, and I put Oklahoma in here too for losing to Kansas. Future SEC opponent. They're not. We had Texas early on in the year after they beat Bama, so they're not escaping the SEC tier or the SEC tier list every time, unless if they do something significant. And Oklahoma playoff chance is done. And sorry, Nick, but they're going in there. If you guys have anything on any,
my heart breaks for Mike Wright. Hope he could pull it out for Mississippi State one more time, but it is what it is. I mean, these teams are what they are. Okay, obviously Oklahoma is not Mississippi State and Vanderbilt, but
I was really interested to see what the all-time record was between these two programs. It's 86-28 in favor of the Sooners, and there's a
Against
lot of red.
Vanderbilt?
No, against Kansas.
against Kansas.
Oh,
There's a lot of red between 1997 and 2022.
Yeah, is
lot
it
of red.
all red?
yeah.
It's all red.
Whole lot of red.
Kansas
Yeah,
really opened up well, though, in this series. They didn't lose a game against Oklahoma until 1911.
Oh.
I don't even know if Oklahoma was a state by then.
The 1900s were absolutely dominated by Jayhawk football.
Well, considering a lot of these games were only played in Lawrence. Oh, wait, no, they were Norman. Oklahoma's a state.
Okay.
Neutral
Norman
site on this
Terran-
one. That was a tie. Okay.
Ties. Sorry, Oklahoma. The team I want to segue off of here is South Carolina because we put Shane Beamer in a tier of his own below this because he is now 0-2 since breaking his foot on a water cooler.
Yeah, the hits keep coming, or the kicks rather, keep coming for South Carolina. They're now 2-6. They have to win out to make a bowl game. Just a total down year for Shane Beamer, the media darling. I unfortunately did not catch the press conference. I wanted to see who he blamed for them losing by 16 to A&M. I mean, it was
The trophy. He blamed the
Do you
trophy.
want to hear the headline?
The trophy was a
What was it?
distraction.
Beamer's choosing to focus on positives for Gamecocks.
So instead of just blaming everyone, he's upgraded to still not blaming himself, but just focusing on the positives. You know, there's a lot of
Exactly.
positives when you're 2-6 and just lost by 16. So
Good way to break this 4-game losing streak is against Jacksonville State on Saturday. I got the ESPNU game, got the cupcake a little early. Vanderbilt, Kentucky, Clemson,
I was going to say, can they do
all
it?
at home. The rest of
They're
the
all at
season, all at home.
they
It's a
could
tough
do it.
one.
I
I don't
kinda
know about
don't think they
Clemson.
will, but
I don't know
I mean,
about
Clemson's
Kentucky.
4-4.
I'm less
Kentucky
confident
is
about
gonna be tough.
Kentucky than Clemson.
Oh, Devin Leary could have been in the back tier. Did we rank Kentucky? Kentucky lost.
Oh my God, I don't have Kentucky anywhere. I'll put them in
well,
loser.
Devin Leary back them in loser. They kind of had their. Oh, the way Kentucky lost. I don't know if you guys saw a second of that game. I caught the end. Kentucky, first of all, they kicked a field goal to go down 6 with about 3 or 4 minutes left. They let Tennessee run the clock all the way out, and the game came to an end with 44 seconds. A Kentucky player faked an injury, which comes with a 10-second runoff, which put them at 34 seconds, and Tennessee was just able to run. They didn't have to run a play on 4th down and just let the clock run out. So
Jeez.
there you go, Mark Stoops.
Yeah. Ooh, great coaching. Can I put Devin Leary in winner but bad because his team lost, but he played well?
You could put him in that, yes.
He's a winner. Good for Devin Leary. About time he figured it out.
very well.
And then last tier, so yeah, shout out Shane Beamer. I'm keeping the hot seat tier, and it's Mr. Sam Pittman. So you guys can feel free to get your any more Arkansas out there.
What's left to say?
Lance Leipold.
They're not even really worth the time. I mean, until Mizzou plays them. I mean, they're 2-6.
I'm waiting so we can put in the Jason Momoa meme of him creeping up behind Superman, and it's going to say Barry Odom, and then Superman is Sam Pittman.
He's back. He's
Coming
back.
back. He wants the job, and he's going to beat Mizzou 5 years in a row after he gets that job.
Jacob Peeler.
What kind of doomer stuff is this? This is like, I don't. Obviously, people wouldn't know this, but Kenny's favorite joke when Mizzou was really terrible at basketball in the 21-22 seasons was to say Kobe Brown was going to transfer to
After every
to
loss,
Arkansas.
I would say that.
Yeah, and he wound up getting a player on the roster going to Arkansas, right?
Yeah.
And of course, that was Brazil and not Brown. Thank God.
Trevin. We might have to do a tier list for basketball. I'll have some choice tiers for Trevin.
Mizzou plays a week from today.
Yeah, basketball in a week. Exciting
Pine
stuff.
Bluff.
Go listen to the Drew King interview. We previewed everything. UAPB. All right. Any last SEC words, gentlemen?
Nope.
I look forward to seeing Lance Leipold on the Arkansas sidelines.
Shut up. In the show.
I'm kidding. All right. Well, in the show, we will have the preview for Mizzou, Georgia on Friday for you guys. It'll be that's an exciting one. We'll talk all about the Dogs. Maybe have a guest. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But nevertheless, it'll be a good preview to get you guys ready for a huge game. Very exciting stuff to see what Mizzou can do with that. And yeah, basketball soon. We're going to have a lot more basketball stuff in the weeks to come as Mizzou gets that season underway. So a ton of good unwritten content. Thank you, everyone, for listening. This has been The Unwritten Rule presented by Bet Online. Enjoy your week.